Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
All right. Shalom. It's a bunch of great millstone Charlotte coming with another God blessing. The spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. First and foremost, we want to start by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
So just a quick morning exhortation. We're seeing, the Lord's judgment start to ramp up in the earth, and people who had unwise things to say, right? Speaking up against the gospel, speaking up against the men of the Lord, speaking up against Yahweh Shem Shai. We're watching, the judgment of scoffers, start to quicken, man. We're gonna see these things intensify more and more, in the coming months, right? Where people will speak against, the word, and then they'll have a judgment take place. So that's why we taught the lesson, mind your tongue, right? So be careful what you're speaking. Be careful of the things that you're saying, because you don't know if that could be your last words, man.
Mm-hmm. I have a
Uh,
quick precept.
kind of go.
This is Romans chapter 2. We get verse 4. It says, verse 3. I'm going to start from verse 2. It says, I'll start from verse 1. It says, therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judges. So I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, and thinkest thou this, O man, that judges them which do such things, and doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of the Most High, because essentially that's going into being a hypocrite. It says, or despisest thou the riches of his goodness and forbearance and long suffering, not knowing that the goodness of the Most High leadeth to repentance. But after
Right.
the hardness and stop right there.
No, you can keep going. No,
It says, but after thy hardness and impenitent heart treasures up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of the Most High, who will render to every man according to his deeds, which pretty much is the point, So you're going to be rewarded for your actions, your speech, all right, going to your conduct in the earth, and then also your actual speech, you see, because what you speak is essentially what's in your mind, So every man is going to be rewarded according to their ways, roughly paraphrasing,
that's right. God, could you select? Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to fix something.
All right. Did you want me to get some?
Kind of grab Sirach chapter 27 verse 4. Just to land back
Okay.
up what you were saying.
This is Bon Sirach, chapter 27, verse 4 says, as when one sitteth with a sieve, the refuse remaineth, so the filth of a man in his talk.
Right. So the filth, right? Your uncleanness is in the things that you speak, man. Right. What you allow to come out of your mouth, right? Shows where your spirit is, shows where your mind is. Right. So it's ultimately showing a lack of a lack of belief, on the part of these scoffers, man. Right. So that's what we're seeing take place. Is major unbelief, and they're showing it through their words, and they're showing it through their actions as well. Because if you had true fear of the Lord, you wouldn't be saying the things that we hear some of these men and women say, man.
Okay.
About Kushal, could you grab Matthew 15 and 11?
This is Matthew chapter 15, we'll get verse 11. So it reads, not that which goeth into the mouth defileth the man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth the man.
That's right. That which cometh out, man. Right. Because we hear all these off doctrines, we hear all these, you know, bug outs, speaking whatever madness they have going on, right? But we're not repeating those things, right, as if it's correct doctrine. That's what we're seeing right now. This is where the separation, right? Now you got the wheat and the tares, right? The tares are those who get sifted out by the world, man. So whether you get taken by one of these worldly devices, or you get taken, by these off doctrines, right? Whether you be taken by, people who refuse to teach the name, or people who love to, cozy up to the Christian church, right? This is, that where that separation is happening, and it's because people aren't being careful of what they're speaking, man. Right? These men that we're seeing are leading the flock to destruction, right? And they're going to be judged, harshly for that should they not repent, man.
All right, precept.
Kind of good.
This is Bon Sirach, chapter 28, and verse let me see, verse 24. It reads, "Look that thou," it says, "Look that thou hedge thy possession about with thorns, and bind up thy silver and gold, and weigh thy words in a balance, and make a door and bar for thy mouth." It says, "Beware thou slot not by it, lest thou fall before him that lieth in wait." So you want to be mindful of the things that you say. All right, for your own self. All right, and also those that are around you. You see, because um, pretty much life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you want to speak, make sure that you're speaking life, and then also in these times we in right now, you got to definitely be mindful of what you're saying, because Esau Edom will use anything, to use against you. Because the scriptures say that. Let me get it real fast. This is let's see, Bon Sirach. Sirach. It's somewhere in Sirach, but pretty much it goes. It says, "Watch your words around the injurious man," because essentially they try to trap you up in your words. So how much more in the times that we coming up into now, where it's it's gonna be heavy persecution. So you got to watch, be mindful of the things that you're speaking.
Sure. But I got this for you real quick. It's Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
So it says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it." All right, those that love to talk. All right, going back to Bon Sirach, 28 and 25. If you don't hedge your possession with a bar and a door, essentially you're showing that you love to use your tongue. All right, so it says, "And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." And what is the production of not having your mouth bridled up? The production of that is going to be destruction. If you just love talking, the stuff that you're saying, you got loose lips, you're speaking a death style, essentially you're going to be judged for those things, because the Lord said in Jeremiah 17 and 10, verses 9 and 10, he's going to reward a man, just like we got in Romans chapter 2 and verse 5 and 6, he's going to reward a man according to his ways. And if your ways amount to death, that's exactly what's going to come to you.
That's right. Kind of Baba Kusha, grab Sirach 20 and 18.
All right. This is Sirach chapter 20 and verse 18. So it reads, it says, "To slip upon pavement is better than to slip with the tongue, so the fall of the wicked shall come speedily."
So it's better, to slip and fall, on the ground, than it is to slip with speech, man. Right? And we know, as being in this change of darkness, this flesh, we have slip ups in speech, but these men are going out here, speaking ill, purposefully, man, right? With no fear of the Lord, man. You see that, is a trait of these Edomites as well, right? They speak with that pride, they speak with that tongue of deceit, and that's trickling down into these Israelites, man, right? So you see these scoffers and scorners, picking up Esau, Edomite characteristics, man.
Out of precept. This is Bon Sirach chapter 20 and verse 24. It says, "A lie is a foul blot in a man, yet it is continually in the mouth of the untaught." All right, it says, "A thief is better than a man that is accustomed to lie, but they both shall have destruction to heritage." All right, and pretty much a heritage is essentially what you're going to inherit. Your inheritance. So those that are accustomed to lie, these false prophets, Esau, Edom, they're gonna have destruction to heritage. You know, I'm gonna keep going. Verse 26. It says the disposition, which disposition goes into the final state, your final form, so to speak. So it says the disposition of a liar is dishonorable, because going back to Mashal, Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 1, I believe, it says a good name is better than silver and gold. All right, so the disposition of somebody that is a liar, somebody that doesn't have a good name, is going to be dishonorable. It says, and his shame is ever with him. You see, so the men of old, they was written about, they had the books and everything, and they were remembered. But if you have a bad name, you wouldn't have you wouldn't be on that great of a level, you see. But that's going to follow you, because it said a man will be known in his children, you see, which that's twofold, because you can be known in the actions that you committed in the earth.
That's right. Hey, Baba Kushab, go back to that Proverbs 18, and I think it's verse 20, because that goes into, the the benefits of having right speech, man. I think it's verse 20.
This is Mashal, Proverbs chapter 18, and we'll get verse 20. It says, a man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled.
Right, so that's the other side, man. Right, when you speak correctly, right, when you speak with wisdom, you speak with the fear of Yahweh Shem Shai, it's gonna fill your belly, man. You're gonna reap that increase, man. But when you speak of your own mind, of your own volition, right, and against the truth, against Yahweh Shem Shai, as you read the next verse, that's where death and life are, man. So you can speak death into the world, or you can speak life, and that's what we're seeing. Again, that separation is, got Jake speaking death upon themselves, right? Where the hopeful elect are speaking life, man.
Mm-hmm. That also goes into speaking life in general. Speaking with positivity. Because for so long, Jake has been on the bottom, and they got that negative mindset. So coming into this truth, we got to reform our minds and think positively, because when you think positive, it shows faith, and it goes into how you feel as a person. So we're commanded to
Right.
be positive in a positive mindset.
Uh, uh, let's get, since we're here, Proverbs 19 and 5.
This is Proverbs chapter 19, and we'll get verse 5. It says, a false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape.
Right, and that's what we're seeing, right? What the scriptures say, smite the scorner, so that the others may understand. Rough paraphrasing, I think that's in Proverbs 21, but it tells you, right, that all these things are a result of speaking falsehoods, man. Right, you teach falsehoods, right? You speak against brothers falsely, right, and then you even come against the men of the Lord, in the matter of try to connect us to these groups of the world, man. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, so like I said, a false witness shall not be unpunished. Going back to that Sirach, where it says the fall of the wicked shall come speedily. And that's what we're about to see coming in these times, man. Speedy judgments taking place against those who came against the ministry, man, and continue to come against the ministry.
Mm-hmm. Because it says shaquar, that word for false witness, shaquar, which means false. It says a lie, deception, disappointment, falsehood. So pretty much speaking something that's false. It says deception, one deceives or disappoints or betrays one, deceit, fraud, fraudulently, wrongfully. Says injurious in testimony, to pretty much to slander your neighbor. It says in vain, so you speak in vanity. All right, it says falsity of false or self-deceived prophets. So essentially it goes into everything. I'm gonna get that precept as well. This is Shamwath, Exodus chapter 20. Let's get verse 12. It says, Salat, nah, that's the wrong one. verse 16. It says, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." All right, and that false witness going into something that's untrue. Then like, again, from that Proverbs 19:5. All right, that word shakar, going into just dealing falsely. Those that are in that spirit, they're gonna be judged severely if they don't repent.
That's right. Baba Kushak, could you grab? Let me see. This is the right one. Yeah, this will work. James 1:26.
Okay. This is James chapter 1. And we'll give verse 26. It says, "If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain."
Hmm. And that even goes for us, speaking with salt, man, right? Because we have to, there's certain things you can't say, right? The scriptures talk about they shall make a man a vendor for a word, right? So it's less and less ways uh, for us to call out this devil, right? Without having us getting lumped into this other madness, man, to these other, uh, uh, psyops that Esau Edom has set out, all these traps, right? So going bridling your tongue, holding back with some things that you might have to say, because it might not, add to the edification, right? And then these other men out here, these other groups, these false prophets, right? They refuse to bridle their tongue. Why? Because they're allowing all that false doctrine madness to spew out, man. Right? So, like it says, he deceiveth his own heart, and that man's religion is in vain. So that those men's belief, are in vain because they're not bridling their tongue, from teaching falsehoods, man.
And when we look at the word bridle, when you look at a horse, horses they use bridles, and that pretty much guides them. So that word bridle goes into, it says, so like, comes from G5468. It says to lead by a bridle, to guide, to bridle, hold in check, restrain. And it says figuratively to curb. So if you can't control what you say, your belief system is in vain. You see, because as a believer, you should be able to control what you're speaking. I got a quick precept that's going into that. This is Mashal, Proverbs chapter 29. We get verse 11. So it reads, it says, "A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards." You see? So you want to be able to, control the things that you say.
Exactly. Because your tongue can get you into some dangerous situations.
I got
Right?
another one. So
Those the scriptures talk about how. Kind of go again.
this is Mashal, Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 20. It says, "Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than him." You see, so you got to calculate. You got to calculate the things that you say. You got to guard your mouth. You got to restrain what you say. You got to curb the things that you say and utter them in wisdom. All right, because they can potentially lead to your destruction.
Grab Sirach 28:18.
This is Bon Sirach chapter 28 and verse 18. It says, I'm reading verse 17. It says, I start from verse 15. This is Bon Sirach 28 and 14. It says, "A backbiting tongue hath disquieted many, and driven them from nation to nation. Strong cities hath it pulled down and overthrown the houses of great men." Just going into the power of the tongue. So it says, "A backbiting tongue hath cast out virtuous women, and deprived them of their labors. Whoso hearkeneth unto it shall never find rest, and never dwell quietly." All right, because essentially the word the scriptures say, um, doesn't the mouth, or doesn't the tongue tastes its meat, but the ear trieth the words, So it says, "A backbiting tongue hath cast out virtuous women, and deprived them of their labors. Whoso hearkeneth unto it shall never find rest, and never dwell quietly." So you got to listen into, what's being said, and if it lines up in the spirit. So it says, "The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones." Because the scriptures say, say Hebrews 4:12, Salah, pretty much, going into the power of the tongue, but chiefly going into the word. But it says, many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue.
Yep. So there's been many people, that perished by the sword, but more that have perished, as a lack of a discipline, right? If you don't have the discipline to control what you speak, right? You don't have the discipline to hold back, in certain situations. That's led to a lot of deaths, man. That's led to a lot of people losing their lives, because they couldn't hold back, right? They couldn't bridle themselves. And this is what we're about to see, with these scoffers and scorners, man. Right? They're gonna be made, examples of, for failing to bridle their tongues, man. For failing to hold back, whatever discord, that they had against the ministry, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. I had a quick Bible shot grab. Uh, Salakia. Proverbs 19 and 25.
Okay. This is Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 25. It reads, "Smite a scorner, and the simple will beware. Reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge."
hmm So we're watching, these scorners being smitten, man. Right? The Lord is smiting these scorners one at a time, right? And we're watching these things ramp up. Even the judgments you see take place, on a daily basis. Those are probably scoffers and scorners, man. And if not, they were just wicked. So either way, the Lord is putting, his judgments are going out daily, right? For people who are moving against his will. And scriptures talk about how he has a controversy with the land because there is no fear or knowledge, in the land. There's no fear of Yahweh Shem Shai in the land. So what we're seeing right now is the Lord smiting people for, what they speak, what they speak, for what they believe in, what they put their trust in, man. Let me see here. Slovakia. That was
Because
pretty much it, man. Okay.
I was about to
No,
say,
go,
pretty
go
much, we in a time of judgment. The
ahead.
Lord is rewarding those that have came up against the doctrine. He's defending His name. So we're seeing the judgment. Of these scoffers and scorners, which is only going to increase.
Grab Deuteronomy 18 and 20.
Time.
Bible Kashaf.
This is Debarium Deuteronomy chapter 28. You said 28, right?
18 and
18.
verse 20.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 18. We'll get verse 20. So it says, "But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die."
hmm That's it, man. Being careful what you speak, right? You speak falsehoods, right? You go into Jeremiah 14th chapter. It also goes into, false prophets speaking, things of their own volition, that that weren't dealing with the Lord, man, right? And like it says, even that prophet shall die. Right? So false prophets are going to die, unbelievers are going to die, scoffers and scorners are going to die, man. Right? And it's all, a result of what they speak. Because all these people have, in some form or fashion, come up against Yahweh Bashem and Yahweh Shai, and they're going to be rewarded, accordingly. That was pretty much it. Unless you have anything else.
No, ain't nothing else.
Okay. So, just a quick lesson, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem and Yahweh Shai. Minding your tongue, being careful. Brothers have already did lessons on, speaking with salt and seasoning. In these times, we have to understand how to maneuver, right? While persecution starts to ramp up. So that again, that goes into minding your tongue as well. Understanding how your speech can affect, your day to day, right? But Lord willing, that was an edifying lesson through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. I want to close by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Berkah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.